episode 73 with Calafia Armada and La Casa. Welcome, guys. Calafia Armada, all the way from. Hey, 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 hey. You got this mic? Okay? Okay, you have a little reverb on your mic. That sounds nice. All right, how you guys doing today? All right, we got like let's introduce the band. So we got Liam, we got Michael, we got Joseph, Jules, and Angel. It's just a little bit of the band, you know. Like you guys are more, just the one we can fit in the studio so far, no?
Can I give a shout out to Diana,
Yes,
to Jeff,
definitely.
and Drew?
Let me just put a little less reverb on your. Yeah, because you have like you sound like a priest right now. Try again, okay? Right? All right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
The rest of Calafia Armada out there in the Bay Area, we got Diana La Musa, we have Jeff, our trombone player, Andrew playing the trumpet, and our occasional sound guy and good friend Sean, who helps us out a lot.
Cool. Let's see.
And of course, Yusuf, Jose, our
Yeah.
mi- our arch missing member.
Yeah, okay, Miguel, you are not on the video here, but it's okay. You're live on the. Hey, we can see you. We can see you right back. Yeah, yeah. You have nice suspenders. We should show your suspenders. Yeah, right there, right there. Cool. So let's introduce to our listener, Calafia Armada. No, it's a young band. It's like a year old or something like that.
About a year, we started. I think we all came together in February of 2016 from various other projects. A lot of the people in this room have been musicians in the Bay Area for years. Some of us have been playing, at Dolores Park, out in the Mission, out in Oakland for I think up to 5 years now. That's where we really started. A lot of us started playing cumbia here in the Mission, and that kind of led us onto the path that brought us to Calafia Armada today, which is a little bit more of a folklore-inspired exploratory project. Not park jams as much as we used to.
Okay, you guys like explore the tradition, the folklore tradition of like Americans
Yeah,
in
the Americas.
like the Central America, the South America mostly, but
We're here in coastal California, so everywhere the ocean touches, we look into the folklore, and we like to see where things come together. Cumbia, the main genre of music that we play, the main rhythm we play, is popular throughout South America, throughout Central America, Mexico, the Caribbean, the United States, slowly the world. I think there was like a cumbia club in Europe last time I was there. However, we primarily are playing music that is based in folklore from Colombia and folklore in Mexico a little bit with the Jarocho that we're doing.
okay, and you guys are like a mix of like coming everywhere, no? Like so you guys like each element of the band brings its own flavor, not to the band.
Yeah, we've got people from Mars, a couple people from Jupiter.
From Venus, yeah, that kind of stuff. Interstellar vibes. No, you wanna keep the good vibe like throughout the universe. No, that's how you do it. So you guys are here. We brought instruments. You're gonna perform some music live, no? Yeah. So the best way to describe your music is like playing it. Yeah,
I like that.
live, no? And this show is like, Espresso Sesh. It's a pleasure to have like a musician and bands because the Bay Area and like this area, San Francisco, the Bay Area in general, like people say like it's dying, like it's to take over, but still there is a lot of creativity. There are still a lot of bands that are pushing their like bringing up fighting for like bringing out their music, their own message. So please guys, here in the studio, Calafia Armada, what are you gonna perform?
First song is from Mexico.
Okay.
Comes from Mexico. It's kind of like a mix. We give it our own style, but we do kind of a mix of it's kind of salsa sounding thing, and we mix it in with Mexican jarocho.
Okay, what's the name of the song? Because I'm trying to keep track of all this. So what's the name of the song?
Boga Marinera.
Boga Marinero live at BFF.FM Calafia Ar Calafia Armada live. So you guys pick up songs out of like traditional song and like how's the process?
We're inspired by a lot of rhythms. Cumbia is a rhythm that comes from Colombia, specifically from Afro-Latin descent, which is the meeting of three cultures of Spanish, of African, of indigenous. And that's inspiring for a lot of the rest of the songs we choose. Jarocho, which is a little bit there we play in the section, is also Afro-Mexicano. So it comes from Veracruz, which is a coast with a strong history of the diaspora of African people, and that inspires a lot of what we choose. It's underrepresented, and a lot of people are learning more about it. So that's something we want to spread more about.
Yeah, I think music carries a lot of cultural traditions, a lot of just messages through the music itself. Sometimes through the lyrics, sometimes through the dance, sometimes through the
To the rhythms, yeah.
yeah, the rhythm and everything. It all combines to tell a story. And a lot of things are centered around. A lot of cumbia are centered around fishermen and just kind of simple people, people of the countryside, but people that are like that are rooted in their culture. And I think cumbia has come a long way here in the Bay Area. It connects a lot of us to different roots. And I mean, not just cumbia, but son jarocho is a big part of a lot of our roots.
Yeah, I seen how you pronounce it?
Jarocho.
Jarocho. Yeah, it's like you explain. It's like Afro-Cuban, Mexican rhythm. No, I had no idea. No, that's why I'm trying to. I mean, probably I heard this like, but like I
Yeah.
can like actually. I mean, cumbia is pretty popular here in San Francisco, in the Bay Area. California used to be a Mexican territory, so like was bought by it's history. So but it's a like slight difference. No, like chicha, for example, is what is the difference?
That's Peruvian.
Peruvian.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Peruvian. Comes also there's old styles of cumbia, all kinds of different styles in different places. In Peru, chicha came out of like this the '60s psychedelic movement, and people taking again those folkloric traditional songs and turning them into a new wave of folklore.
Of folklore. Yeah, I mean it's pretty. It's yeah. This phenomenon is like the actualization of like traditional music, no, make it contemporary to give like a twist. But like you said before, like the stories are mostly like a fisherman, like it's like a storytelling. No, it was a storytelling, and it's like also was a oral tradition to transmit like knowledge and stories, and plus the music helps, no, like with the melodies and to remember and.
Yeah, with cumbia coming from the folklore and then spreading all over Latin America, going to different countries, and then each country having their own expression of it, and a lot of it having to be tied with their economic status or what's going on with their country and their government and their reaction to it. And that's why there's so many different styles, because people took this rhythm and this music that they loved and was also um, like marked as the music of poor and poverty and working class people basically, and they expressed it however they wanted. So you have chicha in Peru, and you have ligera in Argentina, and there's vallenato in Colombia, rebajada in Monterrey. Like the cumbia has been evolving ever since it started, and I think that it continues. We're here. We know a bunch of cumbia bands with the California cumbia sound. You may not know what's happening here, and I'm really happy to be a part of that.
Of that, yeah.
Yeah, helping our friends and continuing that tradition really.
But also talking about tradition, no? It's the Calafia. Like I've seen the Queen of California. What is the story like? Can I ask about it?
Yeah, as we were thinking about what we want our message to be, we kind of sat down and said, all right, what are we actually doing? Where are we at? What's going on around us? And we found ourselves in a place like California, which has an incredible variety of things going on. It also has a very sordid history. There's still crazy things going on
it's interesting. It's an interesting concept that isn't really taught in many places. This idea of our name, the etymology of California. I mean, not just the etymology, but like the story behind it.
The myth, yeah.
Yeah, the myth or the mystery.
The mystery, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot. There's a lot to it, and there's many sources that have different histories. We're basically becoming historians, mythstorians again. I'm gonna use it again because it's all mythology. But I think all of mythology is based off of some sort of storytelling and certain things that could possibly be fact.
Or maybe they were fact at some point, and then the mythology came through, no? And
Yeah.
alterated. You know, like you say a story, I tell you to something, and you tell to her, and then like and when she come back the story to me, it's gonna be different, no? So
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, one of the earliest written accounts is in the 1500s of a book written by a Spanish person who had just been through like the wars. What were those wars? Okay. Like during that, yeah, the Reconquista period. There was yeah, basically, most of us know, we have a gist of the story. The Spanish came up on top and started writing a bunch of stories about how great they were. And this one was written by somebody called Garcia Rodriguez Montalvo, and he wrote of a night in the Christian era of the Crusades and the battles against the Muslims, and the story of the Queen had been passed on to this guy. But who knows where exactly the story comes from before that. I'm sure there was some sort of written accounts. He had a map in his book of an island that was called California. And it was ruled by a queen called Calafia, or Califia, it's, either pronunciation works. And he basically wrote the story of a queen who all of the Spanish knew of this story, this romantic novel almost. And when they came here, to California, to the coast on the Baja Peninsula, they observed it as an island. They thought it was an island. And there's some accounts, some sources that say that there was even ships there before the Spanish ships had come in, that they had spotted ships. But anyway, the story, it tells of this queen who rules on an island. They say she's like a Moorish queen, like an Amazonian type queen on an island with only women. So they had only women. They wore gold. They were warrior women. And as the story goes, just to further it along, she leaves her island to go fight in the battle, basically against the Christians, and she loses and eventually marries one of the Christians in Constantinople or something. But
sad ending.
Yeah. But as we know, yeah, all these stories, these myth stories, written from the perspective of the colonizer, the victor of the war, has the advantage of embellishing, or telling a little more of how they won. But yeah, with this story in mind, when they were exploring the world, they found this place, and some sources say that there were already it was already inhabited by different types of native peoples, and some were of darker skin color, and they called them Moors, or they just called them black people, and then enslaved them and all this mess. But it's yeah, I think it's important to tell this history because it's a deep history in here in California, and I mean, I think it's important to know these histories, but it's hard to know the truth.
There was yeah, exactly. And you guys, as Armada, you are the army of Calafia, no? Like bring it back.
I would absolutely.
Yes.
I'm not so much in favor of like kings and queens and whatnot. But if there was a queen, I would bow down to. It would definitely be Miss Calafia.
Yeah.
I would fight for any day.
She's symbolic of a lot of things. We can go into this after we tell a little bit more of the story in some of our songs, actually, because while we do a few covers, we also have been putting together original songs that are trying to tell this story. However, I'll say this: there's a reason why the Spanish were afraid of Calafia.
And you guys
Get
gonna
into that.
you're gonna tell in the story through a song.
Yeah, so a lot of what we're trying to do, a lot of what we came together to do was take these influences, these different folklore traditions that inform where we're at in California, but it's not necessarily the traditions that we were all raised in. So what we're doing is we want to approach these traditions of resistance with respect and bring that message out, and also sort of put it together with this story that really encapsulates a lot of different cultures meeting, a lot of the history of oppression in the Americas that informs our music, that continues to sort of inform our present right now. And in California, we're very lucky to be aware of all of this stuff. So that's one of the reasons why the legend, the land that we're on right now, and the music sort of is something that we wanted to bring together in our group. We love getting people dancing, and we love getting people partying, but we also want people to think about this image that has carried California, sometimes, actually often subconsciously, through the cultural history that's different than the political history. There's kings and queens and wars, but that's not really the history that the rest of us experience. And so that's where the stories of these working class stories also come into the mix. And Calafia was a great sort of idea, possible reality, something that gives people something to wonder about, but that also really stands for something strong. And that's a lot of resistance imagery, a lot of I don't know. I guess it gets complicated. I'd love to get into it after a little bit more, though. But the legend's very complicated because she has warriors for her, and things don't turn out well for this powerful figure.
So you guys are you're telling this story, and you're in your original material. It's mostly focused about like this legend.
You got it.
Okay, so you guys are. Why don't you perform the original song while you are here, and then we're gonna do a phone connection with your twin band. But let's start with so what's the name of the next song you guys gonna play?
You wanna do Yo Me Llamo Cali or something?
Yeah. So this next song is kind of like an interpretation of a traditional.
Yeah, keep going. You just wanna turn this mic this way so I can take the drums. Okay. Yeah. Keep going, please.
So we took a traditional Colombian song, which is called Yo Me Llamo Cumbia. Took the basic structure for it and just reworded the lyrics a little bit to tell a bit of the story of Calafia.
Hey, what's the name of the song?
Yo me llamo Cali.
Yo me llamo Cali. Calafia Armada, live BFF.FM.
Yo me llamo Cali, yo soy la reina, por donde voy.
story of. Yeah, I see it. I see. Let's have 1 minute, let's have like a little break from Calafia Armada. Let's talk about the sister band because Angel is also performing in the band called Banda Sin Nombre.
Yep.
And we're gonna have Eva on Skype real quick, calling, talking to us because they have a album release on this coming Saturday at Amnesia. Second, hold on. Eva? Hello? Hello, hello?
Hi.
Hey, here you are. Hello, Eva.
How is la familia?
Very, very good. How you guys doing? You can hear her? No, you can. Yeah, just on the headphones. Yeah, because
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just took off I was listening to all of you, and and once the Skype came in, I could hear two of you, so it was amazing, but there was like 100 of you. But I think now it's better, and yeah, you guys are doing great. It's so beautiful to hear your voices so, with such good attention on this radio show. Thank you, Antonino, for helping this happen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you also for providing good music here to the community and the city and to us. So let's briefly. So you guys have an album release coming up on this Saturday at Amnesia.
Yes, we are performing in Amnesia. One of the members of Calafia Armada, Angel, is instead of playing guitar, he plays charango and sings and does some auxiliary percussion with Banda Sin Nombre. We're sister bands. We're really excited. It's going to be at Amnesia, a very special place for us in our history of our band. And we have Ghost Note Ensemble opening for us. They are an amazing klezmer band that mostly plays on the East Bay. And it'll be a full evening. We also have Carissa McKelvey DJing, and it'll be a full evening of fun. So we hope people can make it out to Amnesia this Saturday, June 3rd. The evening will start at 9 and go until 1:30, and we're gonna dance our butts off. We're gonna have a bunch of guest artists, horn players sit in and finish off with a bang. So we're really excited.
Cool. Yeah, the album is called Social Security, if I'm not wrong, no?
Yeah, Angel, you want to explain why it's called Social Security?
Something about the steps.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
actually, it is social security. I mean, it's my social security. Music is always my social security. That's what gets me through life.
Yeah.
We definitely we feel the metaphor with we've been playing on the steps of the Social Security building for 3 or 4 years. Usually on Thursdays, Radio Habana and all the other neighbors around there have been appreciating our music. There's once in a while someone who doesn't appreciate it, but usually they're really boring people. So we wanna offer that social security to ourselves and others on music, and we just want to honor those steps, which are the photograph by Carrie Orvik, an amazing photographer, Carrie Orvik, who made a photograph of us on the Social Security steps for our album, which you can see also in El Tecolote right now.
Cool. And we're gonna play later. We're gonna play this song actually from the. It's called. We're gonna play Rumbetta Bona later on, and yeah, we wanna tell us real quick about the album. It's gonna be. It's a full-length album.
It's so. This album is just collecting a lot of what we've been doing, which is just we're from different parts of the world, and we've lived in different parts of the world, and some of us have strong roots in California, also different Latino roots in Costa Rica, Chile, Catalonia, and the United States too. You know, some people come from families who've been playing, bluegrass for more than one generation, and so all these different musical stories that we carry and musical roots that we carry, we share with each other. So one of the unique things about us, besides the vocal harmonies and a strong presence of women, is the fact that the music jumps from different parts of the Americas and also Spain. So the two songs that we've selected to share kind of show that. One of them is a Catalan rumba song that has Roma origins in the style, originally from Dusminguet, and the other one is actually an American song from the U.S. with strong roots in the South. So we hope that you enjoy it, and thank you so much for letting me be a guest in your visit, Calafia Armada. I love you guys.
Love you, Eva.
It's a mutual ear. You say can you hear? It's mutual. Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Eva.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Check them out if you're in San Francisco, Mission District, Amnesia, Saturday, June 3rd. Banda
you.
Sin Nombre. Thank you. Grazie, Eva.
All right. Thank you, Nino.
Skyping
Lots of
from
love.
Cross, lots of love. Across the bay. All right. Big hug. Thank
bye-bye.
you. Ciao. Yeah, let's play real quick this song. That's called Rumba da Bona, like she was saying, it's in Catalan, and they are Banda Sin Nombre, and you're listening to BFF.fm. Back here we are, Espresso Sesh with Calafia Armada with a little Banda Sin Nombre cameo presenting the next album. It's gonna be on June 3rd, this coming Saturday, and Hankel is playing both bands, so there was the link between the two bands. We're gonna have soon Banda Sin Nombre as well performing and presenting their music from. So we're gonna have Banda Sin Nombre. You know the address, so
Yeah,
getting ready. But let's go back to Calafia Armada. No, you guys have a show coming up as well, no? We should talk about this too. Yeah? You want? Okay, Miguel. You got here. All right.
So Calafia Armada is part of a group of musicians known as the Cumbia Cartel. People have been playing in the Bay Area.
Okay. Let's talk about this because
different styles. Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit, and it lines up with the show. So Cumbia Cartel started with a handful of people. Shout out to Jose, Angel over here, Jonathan, me, and a couple other cats who are working really hard, Bobby Ganoush, to promote shows sort of from a cultural aspect, and basically just make the cumbia scene in Oakland something that's nice and vibrant so people can always go out. We used to go out to a weekly cumbia night and they canceled it, and that kind of got us wanting a more regular cumbia night in Oakland. However, we've been doing these underground cumbiambas, which are sort of international or national events. We try to bring in bands from around the Bay Area, outside of the Bay Area, like LA. We've played with La Diabla now from Tijuana. We have our next cumbiamba on June 17th at La Estrellita, the infamous home of cumbia in the East Bay. They used to host shows back in the day with this band called La Colectiva, which is sort of these OG all-stars of cumbia in the Bay Area. They were out of San Jose and Oakland, and we're privileged at this show to be playing with them, with some members of La Colectiva known as Lado Oriente. I think it's minus Juan Carlos, who moved down to Monterrey and now makes instruments up here. So shout out to Cumbia Shop MTY as well if you need any custom cumbia instruments. However, yeah, Lado Oriente is doing a CD release. What was it? Latino Americanta. So we're going to be opening for that, and there's the possibility. I can't say anything official right now, but we're looking at a special international guest coming in, a world-renowned musician who's going to drop in to support the show already, representing some of the cumbia, or not cumbia, but the Mexican folklore roots that we see coming through music in the Bay Area as well. So that show on June 17th is going to be huge. We usually sell out these shows at La Estrellita under the group Cumbia Cartel. So we recommend people come early. Get there for the tacos next door at La Estrellita also.
Yeah.
It's going to be a special show, and in fact, maybe later on in the show, I'd love to make a guest list spot available for one of our lucky listeners. So keep listening.
Yeah. Cool, man. There's so many things. We got things on the horizon. Keeping the cumbia alive. Yeah, it's good to have like a cumbia cartel. No, I mean the name is kind of like the cartel, but it makes sense to unite musicians and unite different.
We want to support each other.
Yeah.
And it's not about making money. It's just about basically really it's about friends playing shows. It gets somewhat more complicated than that, but at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, and bring everyone into our group of friends.
I thought that we all want to to be musicians just to make money. No, that's the easiest way to make money. Just play music.
Well, the millions of dollars is nice, but that's not why we're here.
Yeah, that's not the case. That's not the case. Cool, Calafia Armada. You guys want to play another song?
Yeah. We'd love to play another rhythm for you, for everybody. This is we want to open up with a tambora rhythm, and then we'll switch that over into some cumbia jamming. But we're just gonna get it going, basically California style, where we're gonna throw a couple influences together, really bring the drums and make sure that people's brains are working as well as their feet and their booties moving.
Cool. Yeah. All right. What's the name of this song? Tambores de Calafia.
And we're going to just take that into, I guess you could call it a cumbia jam. So we're starting out with the tambora rhythm, and then we're going to do the cumbia rhythm.
And it's live, BFF.FM, Calafia Armada. those tambores de Calafia with a jam, a cumbia jam. This is like a classic. La danza del petrolero.
Chicha. That's
Chicha,
that
yeah, this is the
Peruvian
Peruvian chicha we're talking about. Yes,
Yeah.
actually, I was playing like a Siboney, like, cool guys. Yeah, I see you so taking like, like as like a cathartic moment, like the drums, like brings up like the spirit up, and then like you were telling me, Mikael, that you guys have no drummer, like a drum set, but you have like. 3 percussionists, 4 percussionists. So with the
Yes.
percussion, you recreate the.
We're playing closer to the folklore style, which requires a decently sized group of people to be very coordinated. This is how the rhythms came from Africa, requiring multiple people, multiple personalities, people having to come together and not just being able to do it solo. And that's one of the aspects we like a lot about these rhythms. Also, it just sounds so much more flavorful. There's so much more character when you have different musicians coming through with different voices. And really, everyone in our band is a percussionist at some point. People switch. Everyone is clapping at some point, and clapping really is the first percussion instrument. Besides, hearing the heartbeat, clapping and singing is the sort of the oldest kind of music that humans can do. So we all like to be percussionists and singers in this band.
Yeah, like from the music from the archetype, from the bare bone, like backbone, like the
Yes,
beat,
exactly.
the beat,
Exactly.
Cool.
I think, what was his name? Carpentier, Alejo Carpentier, this Cuban writer, took all of that back to music that the shaman was making, and how that related to sort of what you hear when you're in the womb, which is your mother breathing. You hear the heartbeat. So we're sort of born with polyrhythms, and we're born with music. I think in his fiction, he was trying to argue that music is actually something natural to us, and that comes to us without us being taught all the time. It kind of can just come to us. But one thing about the song that we did, Danza del Petrolero, you pointed out it's a chicha, it's a common chicha. You probably heard it before, maybe played it on the radio, but what it's about is it's about the oil fields that are in the middle of the Amazon in Peru. So I'm not sure exactly what the struggle was there when that song was written, but we've seen in the last 10, 15 years, so I think some of the biggest lawsuits in world history have happened with the people of Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, fighting against, I think, Chevron in particular, Shell, all these companies that have been taking oil out, destroying the environment, and not giving any wealth to the country. I don't know how badly indigenous people want the wealth. They just want no oil in their drinking water, and this is something that we in America, especially in the last year, have been facing. So this song from the 60s and 70s in Peru is intimately linked to our the struggle in North Dakota, really the struggle across America. We frack in California in secret locations, but sometimes when you're on the 101, you can see where they're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You are right, because like this is kind of like timeless song, and
Exactly.
can be like applied every time, especially.
That's one of the reasons why we play it. It's it's kind of a happy song. It's catchy, but there's some depth to it, and it speaks to human suffering in the same way it speaks to human resilience, and that's why this song of all the chichas is something that's really special to us.
Cool. No, makes sense. Yeah, I see that. Cool, guys. You want to play another one straight up?
Yeah, we can keep the story going a little bit.
Yeah.
Calafia scared the colonizers. There's a reason why the legend had to end with Calafia being tamed. People were very afraid of Calafia, and we're going to talk about why.
Okay. So, which one is this one?
This is another one of our originals.
Okay.
This is called Salvaje.
Savage.
Salvaje.
Okay, Savage. Salvaje live, BFF.FM, Calafia Armada.
Cantar una historia, todos aquí presentes, otra historia de guerra que mata a los inocentes. No pretendo ser un sabio ni un ángel de la muerte, pero me junto con unos vagos
solamente mi linda tierra, una bandera negra, salvaje y sin frontera. Ni nadie me manda, solamente mi linda tierra, una bandera negra, salvaje sin frontera. Sin frontera, soplar viento, sin frontera, del fuego, sin frontera, sobre el agua, sin frontera, a la tierra, sin frontera, sin frontera, sin frontera, en esta cumbia, escúchenme mis amigos, que esta no es la realidad. Decimos del corazón y nuestras almas quieren paz. Quiten el humo del espejo y verán que no hay vanidad. Y si luchan con su pueblo verán que sí hay libertad. Se me dificulta aceptar las mentiras y las maravillas que ven en las noticias. Ese gobierno tan ajeno, desconocido, le decimos. A mí nadie me manda, solamente mi linda tierra. Soy una pantera negra, salvaje y sin frontera. Y nadie me manda, solamente mi linda tierra.
Woo! Salvaje here live BFF.FM Calafia Armada. Yeah. Yeah, I see you guys storytelling like unveiling the story of Calafia Queen slowly,
Yeah.
step by step, song by song.
Yeah, we're also learning it at the same time, and we're also encouraging other people to do more research because this is where we live. This is a big detail left out of our history. So, we tell people they're surprised. So, go, get your computers out, go to the library.
Yeah.
We'll be doing the same.
No, stay out of the taqueria. Go to the library. Actually, there is a library like next in between two taquerias here on 24th Street. Like the Mission Library is right there.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's quiet. Yeah, Calafia Armada, guys. Like bringing the tradition, mixing it up, shaking things together.
Yeah, one of the reasons we like the term salvaje is because when this legend came out, Europe was undergoing a major change. Not only was a project of colonialism starting, but the Catholic Church was just rounding out their complete destruction of pagan culture in Europe. So when you look up Calafia, even though her name has Arabic roots, even though in the legend she fought for the Muslims, the story is very specific in saying that she was a pagan. So she belonged to a religion that worshipped the earth, worshipped many gods, held women highly, just sort of felt like a slightly more respectful place, whereas Christianity came in and sought to destroy these powerful images.
That is revolutionary for Christianity.
Exactly.
It's like all the wrong thing for the Christianity. That's what they fight against.
Yes, it becomes
Progress,
this
kind of,
symbolism. So it's not even about the Bible itself. It's about what the people in control of Europe were trying to do. Not only control Europeans, tame their own people, and sort of burn them at the stake, which was happening in Spain at that very time with the Inquisition. At the same time that they were trying to wipe out indigenous cultures, and the music has stood as a symbol of resistance throughout all of those times. That's really the power of music, and we've all felt it. That's the reason why we listen to music, because these vibrations do things to our brain that really bring us fully into the community of people.
Cool. No, yeah, I completely agree with you. Again, like underline what you said, and yeah, and also it's good to use this medium, to send this message. A message, any message, through music.
Sin frontera.
Sin frontera, yes. Cool. Like music is universal, man. It's like even yeah.
Yeah, cumbia is a really good universal genre. It's spread from Colombia throughout South America, Central America. It's huge, and yeah, if I started listing right now, I could give you at least 10 cumbia bands that I'm not even in. Just here in the Bay Area, so it's really a music that's speaking to a lot of people. It's bringing people together. When you come to our show, you see that different communities in the Bay Areas are coming together, including some of the techies.
Yeah, but you know what? Like it's I'm Italian. I never grew up with like Latin music, cumbia, and since it's been 7 years, and it was the environment that taught me how to appreciate and love like different rhythm that were completely far away from my own background, And cumbia is one of those, like hip hop, for example. It's something that is you see that it's real, It's like in Italy, hip hop is fake, It's not from, but yeah, there's some music that it's like true. It's like from the art. It's like with passion, and you can tell moves you, and you start to appreciate. So
Cumbia has been almost illegal in some places at various times in history because of the message it brings. I know that cumbia has been involved. Cumbia music has been related to a lot of different resistance struggles around the world, but not only cumbia music in general. But you definitely. I wish I could remember the name of the documentary now, but this documentary got into the history of cumbia, and you see it pop up almost exclusively where people are being oppressed. That's so very similar to the history of hip hop. It shows up where people feel like they don't have a voice and need to have their voice heard. And man, if this isn't the best time to make your voice heard and bring together like-minded people. I don't know what is.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, this is the medium. It's a great medium. So
Can't force anybody with music. They either like it or they don't.
yeah, and when they like it, they are already on your side. Because if you start playing good music, you already got them. So yeah,
Where's Rage Against the Machine when you need them?
yeah, man. Like, where is Mingus? Just Mingus. When we need it. Anyway, Frank Zappa would be nice to have it here now. Anyway, let's keep going and play another song.
Yeah, what do we got? What still have we not done? You know what? That's most of what we prepared. The problem is we're such a huge band, so there's really elements that people are missing. Hopefully at the shows you'll hear the tambora, which is a type of Colombian bass drum. It matches with the alegre, which is the hand drum that we're using, and some of the other like the huache, huacharaca, and maracones, which are like shaker sounds. So it's really this combination of three different drum sounds that make the Colombian folklore backbeat, and we're missing the heartbeat of those instruments right now. It wouldn't even fit in here.
Yeah, but given the context, you guys
Yes,
are
sir.
doing a great job, because like it's physically, like that's the space, there is. So
Well, if you like what you're hearing now, imagine this with giant drums and horns and a beautiful Colombian woman who will sing your brains out of your skull.
We might be able to bring back an old song we used to do, another fisherman song. I don't know if we want to.
I'm down. Yeah, we'll do another traditional cumbia that speaks to sort of working class being tied to the land and to the ocean, which is basically one of the big connecting pieces for all the different cultures that came together to make cumbia music and to make music in the Americas.
And what's the name of this song for the playlist?
This is a song from Colombia, a traditional song called El Pescador, the fisherman.
El Pescador, BFF.FM, live Calafia Armada. Calafia Armada here in the studio, BFF.FM. Whew! Just put this back in.
My headphones fell off on that one.
Yeah. And it's great to see how you guys can fit in this little tiny studio.
We're like a clown band.
Yeah.
There's more where this came from.
We drive a very small car.
Cool. I mean, there is a part of about the influence of the band. Like I guess each one of you guys have like different influence, no musical influence, no? Like growing up. So like there was at some point I think some music, some artist, some album that make you wanna pursue a musical career, no? Or it was like the illumination, like the enlightening, like oh wow, like I remember like few albums that I loved so much, I said I want to make music, I remember like growing up, like I want like Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland, it's like amazing album, like vision, visionary, like storytelling, and like wow, what was for you guys, for example,
Santana for me.
Santa.
I mean, growing up in San Francisco, I had family members, who played in the Latin rock scene out here, and so just finding that old tape that your mom has, and the music she didn't necessarily give to you, but you find
it,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? And you just listen to it on your headphones, and it kind of changes your life, and so yeah, I would say just from the area, I'm sort of getting myself into Latin music sort of recently too, as far as playing it. Like I'm coming from more of like a funk background, and but I think there's similarities to both types of music. Like there's definitely a music of the people vibe to it, and there's also this emphasis on the one beat that I really love about both types of music, that you can hear in both types of music. So it's like with funk, it's like it's like boom 3 4 boom 3, and with cumbia it's that same thing, it's like boom taka boom ta boom taka, and it's kind of this recycling, sort of almost, you could look at it spiritually too. You could look at it like it's got this sort of you just keep going, and you
Heartbeat.
yeah,
That heartbeat.
and that's the that's the struggle too, and so yeah, that's
it's a good thing is that Bobby, you are not familiar with like Latin music, until you join the band, So then you join the band, and like you like horizon musical like boundaries like expand, and that's and also you bring to the band your background, so even the band itself boundaries expand, so that is the beauty of it, like having like a band where everyone is like, there's it's heterogenic but homogenic at the same time, so each one is bringing like their own identity to the mix, and like it's always like a matter of like questioning yourself, and like be open to accept different things that you like, that you feel like you resonate to,
and I think that's what brings growth to music too, because that's when you have, if it was the same players playing a style of music, then that would be a stale situation, but when you bring other influences in, music can evolve, and it can change into, reflecting what's the territory that it's in right now, so that's what I think, that's what we want, growth in this life, right? So
yeah. Also, if you're maybe an established musician, if you have your like signature sound, your like style that is like pretty recognizable, that it's okay, you keep that. But takes a little while as a musician to find your own sound, your own. So you have to, and it's great, like in along this path to find your own sound, like be open and like collaborate and like question yourself, like confront and learn, teach and learn,
Right.
till you find. I mean, it's a kind of like for a musician, it's like a question, like it's like a quest of life, like getting the sound,
Exactly.
So
So, yeah, Santana.
Santana,
San
yeah.
Francisco. Here we are. Mission District.
I think you were happy to see the mural on
that was
18,
beautiful.
on 18,
Oh,
like
man.
yeah,
Well done.
yeah,
Well
yeah.
done.
Cool. Okay, Yusef, it's about influence. Well, who's next? Who's next?
I
That's
guess,
the-
guess I'll go. That was
Yeah?
Yusef on the bass, in case people don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now when
I think you actually said mine. Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland.
Oh Jesus! Okay,
you got me. No, I did. I've kind of always played guitar since I was like maybe 5 or 6. Like, I always had like a little thing I would strum, but I never really took it seriously. I didn't have like any special training. I grew up in a working class family in a house with my grandparents and all their kids, and just my grandpa playing like old ranchera stuff. That kind of stuff. But yeah, somebody introduced me like when I was like maybe 13 or something, that ripe age, and somebody played the Star Spangled Banner actually.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
The
and I-
Woodstock
yeah,
version.
yeah.
Yeah.
Blew my mind. I didn't know instruments can do that. Sound like planes crashing and bombs falling. And, I mean, that was one of the first instances where music literally like expanded me. I was like open to this new world, and I needed more. I needed to make a guitar or try to sound like that, or try to sound like Hendrix, and more. And I mean, I got into blues and different things, but I've always had kind of Latin music there. My mom playing it in the car while she's cleaning the house, listening to cumbias or Spanish rock bands too. My mom was on the younger side listening to Spanish like 80s metal.
Héroes del Silencio.
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that,
Jaguares, Caifanes, all of that. Selena.
Cool. Jules.
Jules has been the quiet one over here in the back.
It's rare, so enjoy it. This will be the only time. Well, Yusef stole mine, but that's typical. Santana is definitely a big influence on me. As far as hearing Latin music growing up, that was one of my first exposures. I grew up with parents from California with a dad from the Bay Area, so a lot of those influences were around me, as well as Bay Area funk. Definitely grew up with a lot of Tower of Power in my life soundtrack, and I came into actually playing Latin music a little bit later. I didn't really grow up around it with an awareness of it, although I grew up with a lot of other, I guess I'll say, African diaspora sort of styles of music, especially having parents from the Bay Area who were into that kind of stuff and brought it into our house. But I started playing Latin music because I joined a Brazilian percussion ensemble in Eugene, Oregon. And I was just hooked. At the time I was studying classical music, and it took me into this whole other realm. The rhythms, the songs, the expression, the story of history that it told, everything about it, just pulled me into this whole world that I hadn't even known existed before. Basically because I ran into a neighbor at a coffee shop, and she happened to be dating someone who was putting together a Brazilian percussion ensemble.
These are the random things in life that happen.
Yeah, and one of those not so coincidental coincidences. And from there, I started kind of venturing a little bit into learning about Cuban music, which has become a huge mainstay of what I do with music, what I study. And there was an album by Grupo Afro Cuba called Raíces Africanas that was probably the single-handedly most influential thing in the progression of my musical interest and gathering of knowledge, the reason that I moved back to the Bay to study and to learn. It's an incredible album. It's put together by a group in Matanzas who's basically a family group, and they've been for years, generations, preserving the traditions from Africa and also combining them into a special style that they call bata rumba, which is essentially the bata drums from Cuba with the traditional repertoire, also combined with another traditional rhythm called rumba. So you have conga drums and bata drums happening, and voices, and all kinds of different layers of traditional and modern adaptations of things. And this album was just phenomenal. I couldn't believe it. Felt like listening to a whole orchestra, and it was just drums and voices. And that was the first thing that just really like pulled me in. Like I knew this was, this was something that was going to be a part of my life in whatever way I was lucky enough to have it.
So you say that you had a classical background, like in percussion, or you were?
Actually, in voice.
Voice, okay.
Yeah, I kind of decided that playing drums and studying Latin music was a lot more my speed than, I don't know, being an opera singer or something. Choir director.
I didn't know you were an opera singer.
I never made it that far. Anyways.
Maybe you can take advantage of her skill as opera singer for doing some background.
This was a while ago. Maybe we should just move on from this.
Okay.
As long as you're the lead vocalist.
Jules, solo, right now.
Let's sing like some Italian opera, please.
But all music translates, and having a background in any kind of music makes it so that the next kind of music you're trying to learn, or the next style, or story of music that intrigues you, might be, you have skills that you bring to it no matter what background you're coming from. We've all come from different musical influences in this room, and we all bring different skills and abilities to the group. So I think that even within our musicality, some people are better at transcribing something really quick. Some people are better at figuring out a harmony, or transposing to a different key on the spot, or even just
or doing the string arrangement, or like other.
Yeah, it's cool seeing everybody's different background and how that brings us, to a place where we all have different things that we bring and contribute. So.
You also give the sense of more like it's participated music, and it's more like make you want participate, because you see that everybody's like singing, shouting, so it makes you like, oh, I want to be part of it too. No, I mean it's not. It's a natural feeling. You see more than like a stiff band that everyone is doing their part. And there is, but it's everyone is like pushing the music and singing along and like shouting. It's more like a party, and you get more involved.
Yeah, we try to really bring that on stage, to bring an energy of a group of people who. We try to reflect that we actually like each other, we like playing together, we like being around each other most of the time. It goes back and forth, but you said jury's still out on me, but, we want to reflect that on stage. We don't want to be the band that, has, maybe we have a really clean sound, but we're not looking at each other, we're not engaged with the audience, we're not, that's definitely, we're going for a warm atmosphere.
With a good sound too, no?
Yeah,
with a good
absolutely.
Sound. With a good sound too.
Yeah, bringing both of those things is important.
Yeah. Cool, thank you.
Guido Güero here, Mikhail.
Mikhail, what's your influence?
I want to say I have similar influences to the other people or what other groups they've mentioned. So I'll go off from there a little bit. So my whole family, they all love music, but there's not a lot of musicians in my family. They're just huge music fans, the kind of people growing up where, I'm 8-year-old sitting in the car and my dad would be like, hold on, listen to this part. Or, my mom was showing me live videos of Led Zeppelin back in the day. Shout out to my mom, Marla. and watching the drummer of Led Zeppelin in a lot of ways is what got me not only into drums, but realizing how, like, maximal drums can be. He was not in the background of that band. You could not put him in the background of anything. I heard that he used to get banned from clubs because he was too loud a drum player at a time when the drums were considered to be a very background part of the band and not an essential part of the music. But for me, the percussion was the only part of the music. So that kind of expanded. But also a lot of folk music, like Celtic folk music. My mom would listen to Tracy Chapman, and that's American folk music that has a really close place in my heart. I actually have been lucky enough to tell one of these old Celtic players. I forget his name now. However, he plays at the Renaissance Fair in L.A. He plays the hammered dulcimer, and he's been doing it for decades and decades, and telling these old Irish songs, which again, similar to the other things, they bring legends out in music that disappeared, but also just being able to see this person still going, Tracy Chapman still going. I've been able to meet them in the last couple of years and thank them for influencing me, even though you'll likely not hear when I'm playing this Wida type instrument, the wacharaca, you're not going to hear Tracy Chapman or Celtic folk music coming out too much on this instrument.
It's just subtle.
Yeah, it's the sort of like philosophical underpinning, or whatever the vibe you could say of folk music, of people telling these truths that are, the truth can get you dancing also, but that's not 100% what the music's about. It's intentionally not trying to have that pop vibe and to really bring like a depth of experience, which, to be honest, if you just surface glance over it, is not going to be as intriguing as a really high-paced dance beat or flashy things like that. But there's more richness, and there's really more fulfillment from playing that kind of music. And I've appreciated just the people in my life who appreciate music, because people being excited about music is probably why I'm still a musician. If everyone was like, dancing, who does that? I don't know how I'd feel about music, but my friends, family, people in my life have always been like not just casually into music, but it makes a difference in their lives, and to see the power of music, it keeps me engaged, because it's had a powerful presence in my life as well.
I would say it would be a life without music, man. I cannot even imagine.
I think more than one of us can say it's probably saved our lives. Maybe at one point, maybe at more than one point. I might not have made it out of high school.
Keep me alive every day.
Yeah, exactly. I think in high school I joined the marching band because I wanted to engage in music. That's the first time I played music outside of just playing a hand drum at home, along with like Tracy Chapman songs. And being in a drum line, right? Can you imagine me as a baby playing along to Tracy Chapman?
I think she lives in San Francisco nearby.
She does. I ran into her in the street, and she's such an awesome person, and I was so awkward with her. She was really nice and gracious, and I was like, pardon me, but Tracy Chapman's incredible.
Cool.
I don't know where that
Shout out.
Shout out to Tracy
If you're listening to BFF.FM, Tracy Chapman, awesome.
Big shout out to everyone in the Bay Area who comes out to these shows and dances. Sometimes you just see people dancing in the street. They don't even have headphones in. Those people are awesome. They keep me going.
That's true. Cool, Liam. Your moment, your influences.
The earliest thing I can remember that I remember, so it must have been important, was singing with my grandmother in her car. My grandmother loves the blues, and she sings the blues, and she had a CD. It was Force of Nature by Coco Taylor, and we would listen to that over and over again until I knew every song, and I loved
every note,
and my grandmother gave me my first informal singing lesson ever, and she taught me how to sing Stormy Monday, and I would try to do it like how she did it, and she would be like, that's good, but more soul, just more soul, and I was like, I think I'm doing it, I don't know. But yeah, that was, I guess I had always liked to sing. People tell me that when I was younger, I liked to sing, and I got really into music in high school, really angsty, and just wanted to only listen to music, and specifically like playing cumbia and like Latin music. That, besides playing with these folks, before I played with these folks just on the street and wherever, Mexico. I went to Mexico for the first time, and I was with my friend, and we went to a market, and we're just eating all the food and like having a great time. And we bought just a burned cumbia CD. It was cumbia sonidero,
Yeah.
and it was all.
It was like a regular CD.
Yeah, it was like just a burnt
burn,
CD, and then
yeah.
they had like typed out all the songs, like 30 songs on one CD, and they were blasting it and blasting it. And my friend was like, "Let's buy this together," and it's like something for my trip. And I remember bringing it back and putting it on my computer and like really enjoying the music and really enjoying the songs. And then going back to Mexico again years later and learning how to dance cumbia was like solidified it for me as like as an influence. Like I really love dancing, and cumbia is once you like learn the steps and you do partner things, like it's an infinite portal. It's so fun. And when you're in Mexico, people are just dancing cumbia wherever you go. Parties till like 6 in the morning. I actually fell asleep dancing cumbia one time. We were on a rooftop in DF, Mexico City, at somebody's going away party, and the sun was coming up, and I was still dancing, but I was
So tired.
definitely asleep. My eyes. And
Okay.
nothing
But
else.
did you pass out or?
Immediately after, I fell asleep in someone's arms, so that's nice. But yeah, cumbia just introduced me to even more Latin music, and I'm still learning right now. Like this band is very participatory. Like I am learning to play some of these songs on guitar, and I'm learning like basic rhythms on the tambora. So now I am learning more percussion and drumming. And when you see us play on stage, we're switching instruments like at least 3, 4, 5 times. Yeah. So it's great for a lot of people are really experienced and have a lot of knowledge and experience of music, and some of us are a little newer, and we've just been growing and learning a lot from each other.
And how it started, this band? Like you guys had a vision. You guys start jamming together, coming along.
Is this the behind the music or? When was that? It was like last December. I think we had our very first practice ever.
Like
20, yeah, 2015. We
So.
got together and talked
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
You guys that guy. Yeah.
Had been in other bands before together too. Some of us.
Yeah. Me, Angel, Leia, and Jose, the tambora player, who's not here right now. We were all playing with kind of a handful of other projects and stuff that wasn't even bands, but just like people who would jam regularly. But one thing that there's different ways to run bands, and we all kind of were not as excited about the projects that were focused around one person making the decisions and calling the shots musically, and wanted to open up and kind of have a little bit more of a democratic approach, also, or not even democratic, just a more open approach, and also expand the genres that we're playing in. So Angel and I were in sort of like a pop cumbia band, and while that music is fun, we wanted to do something a little bit more profound. Me and Jose were in a folklore Colombian group that turned into, or it basically was trying to do the songs as true to the way that they were done originally in Colombia as possible. And there's definitely a place for that, and there's actually at least 2 or 3 bands I can think that does that. But what we wanted to do is sort of bring the tradition to the modern day or whatever. I feel like traditions are valuable because they kind of develop with the people. It's not something set in stone. Traditions change a little bit. So, you know, we're not no one in this room currently is working as a fisher. So these songs pick up a different meaning, and we have to accent that different meaning. You know, we wanted to be able to do those kind of things that we weren't able to do in these stricter groups that were maybe more genre specific, had a tighter group of people, and now we can expand. We can bring in a lot of different musicians, and we have trumpets, trombones, saxophone. Today's we have a much more like flexible, open kind of vibe now, and that I think that's to me that's the main reason why we're not just playing with all these other bands that we're in right now, because I think everyone in this room is in at least one other group right now, if not likely more than one other group.
Yeah, but this is musician life.
Yes.
You gotta pay the bill and play as much as you can, because also it's. I think it's coming from inside of you. You can also sit down not playing. So more you can, you play more, as much as you can.
Yeah, and we saw space for it. There's a lot of bands doing a lot of different things, and we saw sort of space for the kind of thing we wanted to do in particular, where we're sort of depicting the whole tree, the roots, the trunk of the tree, the branches, the whole sort of picture of what's going on with this music. So we can talk about the dawn of colonialism in the same way that we can talk about the fact that right now ICE is deporting dozens of people, and having a band that's also interested in putting out a political message is unique. Some musicians don't want to mix that in. They feel like it'll turn people off, or that art and politics don't go together. I think they intimately go together and always have, but I think that we all sort of feel that way, that the way we want to engage in politics or in activism, at least in part, is through music, and that's another huge thing that brings us together and holds us together. If we're not playing music, we're talking crap on politicians whose names I don't even want to say out loud.
No, it's
It
good.
might appear.
Yeah.
They might appear.
No, it's good because actually you can like with your own musical project, you can shape it. You can shape it and give the direction that go to the direction that you want. So include a message, and but even the folk song that you talked about before, no? Like they are timeless. No? Danza del Petrolero. It was like from let's say like 6 years ago, 8 years ago, but it's still how you say this, applicable nowadays. No?
It's
So
so relevant.
timeless, relevant. No time. So some songs are timeless. No, it's good to find the timeless one and bring it up, bring it back. No,
Yeah, hopefully write some timeless ones too.
and yeah, this is like. Probably this is another story, man. Like,
Right.
I don't want to talk about that, but probably like the depth
Yeah.
is gonna bring to the music of the artist.
Can we get a little bit into the depth here in the Bay Area? I'd love to see if there's anyone out there who wants to come to the show on the 17th. Do we have a chat, or what's the best way for someone to get in touch?
You can tell now. Maybe you should email, because the video is 5 people watching right now,
Okay.
but people listening.
What's
so
go ahead and say the email address.
no, your email.
Oh,
your
email address.
Calafia.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Get in touch.
First person who says that they were listening to the show on BFF.fm and is interested in the show on the 17th to email calafiaarmada@gmail.com. Calafia Armada, no spaces, @gmail.com. First email we get, that person will get a guest list spot +1 for the show June 17th at La Estrellita in Oakland. Calafia Armada, Lado Oriente, and a special surprise heavyweight
Surprise
guest.
guest. Yeah.
And that's a Cumbia Cartel show.
So just shoot an email at calafiaarmada@gmail.com to get this.
You got it. CALAFIAARMADA @gmail.
All right. Thank you, guys. It's 3:50 right now, so we have like the last 5 minutes before pass the mic to Astral Projection Radio Hour is coming next.
Cool.
So would you like to play another song, a final song, real quick, or 4 minutes, or like just wrap it up? Give us like a short one, Yeah.
Yeah. We can do one more.
Okay.
Before we start that, I'd love to give. I'm all about shout outs on this radio show right now. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that, but I want to give a
please.
shout out to the Cumbia Cartel, to our sister bands La Gran Puchica, La Ceiba, Banda Sin Nombre, Arenas Dance Company, Maracatu Pacifico. What's who you got?
We got Bo Wiley in the building. We got man, all the bands you just said. All the bands.
Yeah, all of our friends bands, Bang Data, Pasto Seco, La Misa Negra, La Colectiva, La Clandestina, all these groups really keeping the cumbia scene alive. These are all groups that are really like participating in the community. So we see them on stage, we see them at the burrito place down the street, Boots Riley, from the coup.
Cast a wide net, find a common thread.
Cast a wide net, find a common thread.
As our friend Diamond Dave likes to say.
Yeah, so we're part of a really big group of musicians, to the point where you can play a show that is sold out and everyone else in the audience is from every other band that you like. It's a really good scene. Oh, Mission Delirium, they're really awesome also. Just sorry if you're one of my friends' bands and I didn't call you out. I love you.
Alright, Calafia Armada en la casa. Aquí Espresso Sesh. Yeah, last song. Okay, which one is this one?
This is kind of like a little medley we do, called Por el Suelo.
Por el Suelo. Calafia Armada. Thank you so much, Calafia Armada. Thank you. Check them out. Check them out. Give links online.
Calafia Armada. Look up Calafia Armada, Cumbia Cartel, Oakland.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. Stay tuned on BFF.fm because it's coming. Astral Projection is coming next in the house at 4. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. It was great. It's gonna be a podcast up. Thank you for watching us on the video. All right. Ciao. See you next week. Same time, same station.